Tell me, and we'd be lost. Um, uh, yeah, no, I lost my train of thought, but we'll figure it out. Okay, so you're gonna lie down. We're gonna do it very simple. We're gonna start really simple, and then we're gonna slowly get more and more complex. Okay, and I'll try to talk you through it, and just stick with me. And at any point, ask me a question. Okay, guys, let's go. Let's go. Lie down for me. And oh, this is what I was trying to get at. Oh, yeah, okay, good. So you have to have. Sorry, I forget. It's not a. I don't carbon copy this as much as you think. So there are days you wake up and you feel have more energy, and you want to make sure that when I say I'm going to practice, I have many different practices. Some practices are sweatless. Some practices are a lot of sweat. Some practices are in between. Some practices are more active, some practices are less active. The reason is it depends how I feel. Like I wake up in the morning, if my energy is good, if I feel great, that's how I practice. It's not one and all, right? Like if I feel good, I'll change it. Sometimes you're just tired. If I've trained a lot or my body's just sore, recovering, I still want to practice. So this is the beautiful thing about visualization. It's that practice when you're kind of tired. So it allows you to get 80% of what you need with very little effort. So it's not a waste of time. You're not saying, well, if I can't go hard, I can't do anything. No. You can do a lot. So some days when you don't have a lot of energy, these type of practice sessions are spectacular. Okay. And not just for us, like try to see guys, a lot of athletes, they practice 2 times a day. Like they're sore. So there's times where your body just says, please stop. And this is a great training for those moments. Okay. This is really good at time for this stuff. Okay, good. Let's go. Let's lie down. So get on the ground. I hope everybody can see me good. I got it. There we go. Great. Okay. So lie down, and most important to be comfortable and just with your breath. And what I want you to do is very slowly think about your arm coming up and then your arm coming down, but don't do it. Just think about rising your arm and try to visualize how the hand will be. Like, don't do it, but try to imagine which way will your hand be, which way will your elbow be, how will your shoulder be. Like, try to vision where it's going to go, exactly where it's going to go. And then once the image is clear, go do it. Okay. And then when you're up here, now visualize where you want it on the ground and how you want it to be lying on the ground. Palm up, palm down, fingers relaxed, fingers together, elbow to the side, and then go do it. So you think about lifting your arm, you think about it good a long time, and then you go do it. And then you think about lowering your arm, and then you go do it. So first you think about it, you visualize it happening, and then you do it like 3 seconds later. So it's like it's happening before I do it in my mind. It happens first, and then the action, the physical action, happens anywhere between 3 and 5 seconds after. Remember, don't just lift your arm, but try to envision what's the position of the fingers, what's the position of the wrist, what's the position of the shoulder and elbow, how's the speed, where am I going to stop? You can lay the arm down in different places. So if I visualize that I want my arm straight, I have my arm straight. But what if I want to visualize it beside my body? That's fine too. Just wherever it goes, you have to think about it first and then do it. So in this case, my palm is facing in before it was facing out. And now my arm is lying on the ground, but it's above my head before it was beside my head. Now both arms together. So again, I visualize both arms coming up. And then at the same time, I visualize them both going down. At the beginning, it's better if they do the same thing. But then later on, you can visualize one up and one down, but you have to have a clear image of this end result. Okay, great, guys, good. Now, I want you to have put an image of a, like, I don't know, like a plate, a small plate in your hand, right? Something like, I don't have to envision any food in it at all, just a plate that you're holding up, much like this, right? And there's going to be a little bit of tension in your arm, because you're holding up something, right? And I want you to very slowly now start to move around the floor. It doesn't matter how you move. I don't care, but I want you to imagine that you have a plate there and you don't want to drop whatever's inside it. So you're moving around with a vision of a plate above you, okay? So that you're holding something. So for me, my hand is facing the ceiling. So no matter what I do or how I move, the plate always has to be facing up. Even if I go on my stomach, the plate is facing up, okay? And just start to move with that visual of holding a plate, okay? Let's go, try it. So there's going to be a little bit of tension because, they got to hold the plate in place, but there's freedom in all other parts of your body. So try to see, can I hold one position and move other parts of my body? So the conscious mind is with the plate, the vision of a plate in my hand. The subconscious is my other parts of my body moving. When that arm gets tired, you can replace it with the other arm. It's just a vision of a plate that's above you and you're moving underneath it. Yeah, you can sit up on your bum, you can go back down, but that vision is clear in your head. Good. Put your hands down again. Relax a little bit. Yeah. Now lift your hand up, but imagine like you're grabbing something, like I don't know, like somebody's shirt, I guess. I don't know, something like you're holding on to something. Okay, so there is a tension in the arm and there's a clenched fist with some tension, like you're holding on to somebody's shirt. And again, you start to kind of move, but this time the vision is like I'm trying to pull somebody towards me instead of pushing a plate away or up. I'm pulling something towards me or close to me. So my hand and my effort is going this way and I'm moving. So it's can I pull, or that vision of pulling something but still being mobile with other parts of my body. And again, you can switch the hand, right? So there's this pull and there's a relaxation to other parts of my body. So visualize holding somebody by the shirt or something, trying to bring them close to you when they're over top of you, so you can give them a little kind of martial art kiss, I guess. And then move other parts of your body. Remember, you can always switch hands when you need, right? Good. Put everything down again. Just a few more. Okay, let's take a deep breath in, deep breath out, a deep breath in, a deep breath out. So very quickly, fast, and with lots of speed, visualize your hands together like this. So very quickly bring them up. Right? So they're up here very quickly. And then let them visualize like almost the arms fall without like any muscles. They fall like without any bones. It's like I want to bring them up through the bones. So I visualize the bones of my arm. And then to bring them down, I visualize that it's almost like nothing in my arms. Like there's no bone at all. I only feel like a sock. So coming up, I feel all the bones in my arm. They're very strong and stiff. And then I visualize no bones in my arm at all. And I try to bring them down like a feather. So they come up strong through the bones. And then I visualize a feather and like two socks falling to the ground. Try to really visualize it like the bone, the physical bones, and like a stick. They're like basically two sticks. And then get rid of that vision of a stick and think of feathers, how they fall to the ground, or a leaf falling to the ground. It doesn't come, it falls so gentle. Now reverse this, lift the arms up very gentle, like a feather, like no bones. And then I put them down. I feel the bones of my arm. So really, really relax. Make sure that the arms rise up like a feather and they go down through the bones. Good, guys. Start with both arms at the top again. Both arms at the top. A little bit more challenging, but we'll try it nonetheless. So I'm gonna lay one arm down first, very like through my bones. I'm visualizing the bones of the forearm, bringing my arm down. This one I'm gonna visualize like a sock or like a feather. Okay. The idea that I want you to do is be able to do them both different. So this one comes up through the bones, it comes up, this one comes up through no bones. So bones, no bones, no bones, bones. So the two arms are doing different things. If you can at the same time, amazing. Otherwise, one at a time. Okay, try it. So it goes up, one arm goes up with no bones, it goes down with no bones. The other one comes up with bones and down with bones. And you switch whenever you want. Make one arm, with the bones, the other arm with like a feather. It's your choice. Guys, you got to put yourself on mute before you go to the washroom. Okay, come around for a sec. Let me just give you. It looks like you're doing it well. Come close, guys. So, could anybody do it at the same time? Could you do it at the same time? That's very tricky. That takes a long time. Even me, it's been a while since I've done it. Right. It's going to take a little while. Ralph, you got to put yourself on mute, my friend. I just gotta leave it on mute. It's better if you do that. Okay. So let me show you how I try to do it. I know. I figured. Okay, watch me. So it's easier to start with the arm that's relaxed. So just watch. Here's my arm that's like a feather, okay? And this is the arm that's going like a bone, right? So I start to go up and then this one comes. So it's not exactly at the same time, but this one starts and then this one starts to come up. So it's like a blend in between. It's hard to do it at the same time. This is going to take some long time. And if you want to know where the inspiration came, I actually saw this. So in one seminar, I saw Michael massaging a guy's shoulder here and punching another guy in the chest very hard at the same time. And he didn't plan it. It was just one guy wanted to punch, another guy had a tension in his neck, and he did it. I said, that's crazy. I can't do that. I can't. And the person that was getting massaged was in ecstasy, and the person that was getting punched was in utter pain. And it was the same person doing this at the same time. That's a crazy skill. And you have to have almost like two. You have to have your brain almost in two places. So it's very, very difficult. So I visualize this a feather. I visualize this like the bones and strong. I get this started, and then this one comes up. I get this one started and this one goes down. But just a little bit before, it helps you kind of blend the movements, right? So the relaxed movement starts just a little bit before, and then the stronger movement comes after. Okay. Can you try that? Try it. Try see if you can get as close as you can to doing both of them at the same time, visualizing a feather and then something strong like bones coming up. Okay. Try it. Let's go. We'll do it together. Once in a while, you have to switch the hands. One might be easier, but you should switch it. Awesome, guys. Come around, please. Okay, how was it? Talk to me. Could you get closer to having them happen at the same time? Was it closer? No.
It was closer.
For me, it was better.
What's that? Sorry?
It was better for me this way. Yeah.
Yeah, so one starts a little bit before. Now, for me, the relaxed movement is, I can do it if I start with the tense one, like I start with the stronger movement, it's hard to relax. Okay. It's easier to start with the relax and then bring the strong movement, right? So it's really interesting. Now, believe me, guys, this is like what you're studying right now is like above martial arts skills. It really is. Like you are dealing with the problem all tough, strong people have. When do I use my strength? I need to be able to use my strength and not use my strength, because no strength is powerful too. Like silence is just as strong as words. Sometimes you don't say. So you're going to be confronted with an aggressor, somebody grabbing you very tough, and you might need to apply gentle pressure, or you might need to apply force. You have to make that decision. If I'm a hockey player, not a Toronto hockey player because we're not in the playoffs anymore. Sorry, Jake, I had to throw that in there. It was painful for me to watch. It was painful for me to watch too. I think all of Toronto was crying. So if I'm a hockey player, I have a big slap shot, but I also have a gentle touch. So it depends how I get the puck. Do I pass it, or do I do a hard slap shot? I have to make that decision right on the moment. Like I don't plan it. There's no planning. I mean, a big shot might present itself in 1 second. A beautiful soft pass might present itself. I have to be able, and then there's trickery, which Jake knows well, where you fake one and you do another. So there's like strategy here. So you need to be able to show force or power and also show relaxation as a fact or as trickery, which is how martial arts and fighting happens too, right? So please, you have to be able to do this on your command in the most present moment possible. It's not a big plan. It's being very present. So doing this at the same time is some crazy skill. That's really good if you can practice this. And you don't need anybody to practice this with. You just do it on your own. You just do it like I'm showing you right now. The more you do it, tomorrow you'll see. You'll grab a guy by the head when you're training, like around the neck, like a wrestler, and then relax. And all of a sudden you can feel him almost in a moment relax because you relaxed him, because your actions relaxed the person, right? It's very important that you see this, that you have the ability to turn it on, turn it off. When it benefits you, you turn it off. When it doesn't benefit you, you turn it off. Like you have to be able to switch very quickly, okay? So let's see now if we can do this with our legs, okay? So similar idea with our legs, okay? As we did with the arms. Can I move on, or you have any questions about the arm stuff? Believe me, when we'll do this standing up too. I'll show you the ways we do. We just did it lying down because it's a little bit easier to kind of work with our mind. So lie down on your back again. Everybody slide down on your back again. Okay. And lift like kind of one leg up. And I want you to imagine like you hurt your ankle. Okay. So you maybe twisted your ankle. So you're going to start to move on the ground, but don't let that ankle touch the ground. Right? So the ankle has to stay up. And because it's up, it's going to be a little bit tense, right? So just don't let it drop to the ground. You have to hold it up. So there's a little bit of tension because you have to hold it up, but the rest of your body is super relaxed. So your visualization is that you have a hurt ankle. And I'm sure we've all had those. So we got a good visual of what that feels like. So you don't want to touch it to the ground and you don't want to move it. Don't want to wiggle it too much because it'll hurt. And switch the ankles too once in a while. See the difference, right? Now both ankles are hurt, so you're moving in such a way that both ankles don't touch the ground. They both have to be in the air. Your knees can touch, but mostly your ankles are staying off the ground. Remember, don't forget, visualize. They're hurt. They both kind of don't want to touch. It's not just moving on the ground. You're thinking about, you're visualizing your ankles injured. Good, lie down flat on the ground again. Get your breathing back if you've lost it a little bit. So lie nice and comfortable and try to visualize now like one person about your size lying across your chest. Okay. So just about your size lying not across your neck, but across your chest. Okay. Visualize that. And now start to move on the ground on your back with that visual. So you have somebody that weighs about your weight on your chest. So kind of start to move like you have somebody, like you would move if you had somebody this big on your chest. Right? So think of how far you'd be able to move. Think of what you'd be able to do with that person on your chest, across your chest, lying across you. So don't just move on the ground. Don't lose sight of the visual of somebody across your chest. Very good. Now imagine or visualize them getting off of you, okay? And very slowly turn over onto your stomach, okay? And again, now they're hopping on your back. So person is lying across your upper middle back. So try to get a strong visual of that person or about your size lying across your back. And when you got that image, start to kind of move on the ground again. So really don't lose sight. Don't move like there's nobody there, even though there is nobody there. Try to visualize what that weight on your back would be like and how you would move if you had to carry a person on your back like this. Good. Visualize that person getting off now. And if you've done it right, you start to actually feel like they've gotten off of you. You actually feel that sense of somebody came off of you. If you didn't, it's fine. But just if you're doing it right, generally, when you say or you visualize that person getting off, you actually can feel it. Now, roll over onto your back one more time. And this time, I want you to envision two people. So one person across your chest and one person across your hips. So two people lying on top of you. And try to get that visual too, right? So it's way more weight. You know, it's essentially twice your weight because one person weighs your weight and then they add double that. So then when you get that good visual of two people lying across your body and you're on your back, try to move like how you would move with two people on you. So really start to kind of see, you know, I'm visualizing, you know, almost 400 pounds on me. And how would I move, right? It wouldn't be very much. I would move. I know I can move two people, but it wouldn't be very much. I would be small movements. It would be relaxations through my hip and my shoulders, kind of little shuffles on the ground, left and right, and kind of forward and backwards. So I'm not just moving on the ground, I'm visualizing two people my weight on me and what I would do or how I would move on the ground. Good. Now, really strengthen that visualization by imagining one person getting off and then the other person getting off. And just by you thinking about it, you feel it feels lighter already. Okay. Very slowly roll over to your stomach. And the same thing from this position again, where I'm lying on my stomach, but I'm imagining two people, one across my hips and one across my middle back. And I can feel that weight of them just lying down on me. And as soon as I feel that, or I got that good vision, I start to kind of move on the ground like I would with 400 pounds on my back. For me, it would be wiggles, small movements. Good. Try to imagine now, to visualize one person getting off, first your hips. You should feel just the thought of it. Your hips become more free. And then they come off your upper middle back. You should feel that area kind of relax a little bit. Put your hands beside you in a push-up. Really nice and simple. And come up into a push-up at the top, but come up through the bones of your arms. So it's kind of like, yeah, it's very strong. It'll feel very strong. Now you can stay on your knees. It's fine. I want you to get the visual, right? So I came up through the bones. So I'm literally standing on my bones in the push-up. And then I'm kind of bringing myself down like a butterfly or like a leaf. Very, very relaxed, right? So I come up like proud and strong, strength of the bones and the muscles. And then I kind of relax everything and I try to kind of float to the ground, or that idea of lightness and floating. So just keep playing with that. Really visualize, strength and the physical bones of your upper body, and then try to get rid of them. And if you didn't have any bones, how would you go down? I mean, you still have muscles, but you would, if you could get rid of your bones, like they turn quickly like a snake, they just cartilage. There's no actual structural bone. If you could get rid of them, or that idea of getting rid of them. Let me help you guys out a little bit with some visual, some of my own visuals. So hands beside you, okay? Stay on your knees, okay? And I want you to come up like, like a teacher's watching you, like somebody very critical of you. So come up in a very strong push-up, like everybody's looking at you. And then now you realize the teacher's turned his back and he's not looking, and just kind of relax yourself. Just go down lazy. So the visual is I'm strong and think, and then you're lazy. Very important to know both, guys. Very important to know to properly find your strength and then properly be lazy, I guess, in one way. Yeah, that's better, guys. Like that. So on the way up, you're strong. Everybody's watching you. On the way down, nobody watched you. You just kind of collapse yourself. And you can reverse it too, where you go kind of up really lazy, but then you go down kind of stronger. Put the visual of like a leaf or a feather on the relaxation parts. Try to visualize those things. Awesome. Lie down on your back. Put your feet together. So your legs are together like one, right? They come up through the bones. Everything's quite strong in your legs. And then the legs separate now and they kind of float to the ground with relaxation, right? So visualize a feather falling, come up, they're strong. You feel the bones of the leg, right? And then you separate the legs, relax the bones and allow your legs to lower without the feeling of the bone. Together, they come up strong and then they float down with no bones. Now the reverse. So legs come up separate, just a little bit of space between them. They come up as light as they possibly can. Put them together, and then you bring them down strong through the bones. Now your arms join in. So you feel the bones on the way down, on the way up, no bones at all. Now the reverse, you feel the bones on the way up and let the arms and legs go down with relaxation. Awesome, guys. Just lie flat and be comfortable. Take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath out. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Just close your eyes for a quick second. Keep breathing though. Don't let your breathing drift. And very slowly in your mind, try to create your systema. Try to imagine how you would fight in training, not in real fights. It's just training yourself now. How do you want yourself? Try to visualize yourself coming to a systema class, walking in, meeting the teacher, shaking hands, changing in the change room, going onto the mats, warming up, the class starting, the class being in the middle, the class ending. Like, try to imagine like a fast forward version of your train. How will you train? What will you be like? Who will you train with? What will you study? How will you wrestle? How will you take punches? How will you handle grab and escapes, a knife, a gun? How do you handle those things in training? Try to visualize yourself training the way you want to see yourself train. Awesome, guys. Very slowly sit up a little bit and come close. So that last little bit I gave you there, that last little bit, it really works best if you've, like, let's say I did a class yesterday, let's say I attended a class last couple of days, so it's very fresh in my mind, the class. I would replay that class in my head. So I would, visualization is really strong when you have already a strong memory of it. So if I've watched a video of, whatever, say I watched a gun disarming video or a knife disarming or any video, if I've watched it, and then I will remember it for a few days for sure, it'll be fresh in my head. So if I just did a class yesterday, for me to visualize, I would re-visualize that class, everything I did, part by part, and I would say, okay, where were the parts where I feel I didn't do that good, and what could I do to make them better, and try to imagine myself doing that better. Okay, like, it really helps. Right now, you didn't really have that, so it might have been harder for you to recall. So that works really good. So you could do that last part if you watch the training, but if you have like some of the Systema videos or some of the online class that I've done, if you watch them and then you can visualize them as well in your head. Okay. How was it, guys? How was the class? Could you make the feeling real? Could you make the feeling real?
Yeah.
Yeah. Guys,
Pretty much.
The feeling is very important for me. Okay. Like we fight through emotions and feelings. So the more clear the vision is in our head, the better the feeling, the closer we are to the real thing, like, that we need. Okay. But like with all things, practice will be necessary. Okay. Try to do this if you can. I mean, I know it's hard to dictate a whole hour to it, but if you ever have a spare 10 minutes, and I know you always do, guys, you always have a spare 10 minutes, you can be sitting down in a chair and you can simply just lightly close your eyes and just think about what you did, right? When I was in university, best advice I got was when you go to a good lecture, when I hear a good person speaking, let's say I read a good book or I watched a good professor teach a course, right? When I got into my car to drive home, all kids used to just turn on the music and listen to the music. I left the music off and I drove for 10 minutes. I remember I used to have the timer on the clock, 10 minutes. And I would just think about what that prof said. And everything they said went in my head so much better. Okay, just 10 minutes. It's just that, just don't pick up your cell phone. Don't make a call. Don't go on the computer. If you hear something or you see something really good, just think about it for 10 minutes.
That's a good
Just
tip.
10 minutes. Like I could be reading a book in the morning and I read a page that's just beautiful, profound. It moved me in my heart. I stop what I'm doing for 10 minutes and I just think about that. And then that gives you so much good positive energy, so much good feeling, right? So something to think about. Okay, visualization is a huge topic, guys. Books and catalogs, courses. So we're just scraping the surface, and I hope that you start to peel back layers and find out how much of it you need to do. Okay, because some people, it's not everybody's the same, but some people have a false image of themselves, and if you don't have the right image of yourself, like like people sit there and say you're such an amazing guy or such an amazing person, and then you go home and you think that you're lousy. You have a lot of work to do, right? It's not going to be quick. We want to make sure we have a good image of how we really are. Okay, and if you don't know, just ask good people. They'll tell you, or I'll tell you. One or the other.
That's a great tip.
I'll tell you. Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah, don't ask your wife. You'll never ask for sure. For sure, you'll be in trouble then. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for a great class. I'll post the video tomorrow, and I will see you guys next week.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Bye, guys. Great class. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.